All right, everybody, Dan the Fireman here. We're going to be going over 3 common motorcycle crashes that involve other vehicles while we're riding. So, somebody's going to want to merge into us, we're going to run into somebody, and then somebody's going to rear end us. So, what do we do in these situations? And that's what we're going to go over here. So, let's take a look at these 3 videos and jump right into it. All right, reacted in time to avoid any disaster went on with my life. Will need to limit my time in someone's blind spot. Yes. Okay, blind spot issue. Buddha Rice. Okay, we're gonna go over your video, Buddha Rice. If you wanna, clip this and then post it on your channel, that's perfectly cool too. Go ahead and do that. So any of you that are watching this, maybe you see this, go ahead and clip this video if you want, post it on our YouTube channel. I'm not gonna copyright claim you or anything like that. I just want you guys to have an after action review for the thing that you probably posted on your channel anyways. Hi, I'm Dan the Fireman, Buddha Rice. Everybody that subscribes to Buddha Rice, we're going to go and take a look at this one. Let's see what happens. You want to stay out of someone's blind spot. Let's see. Let's do an after action of it. All right, so we're going to be in the blind spot of the Jeep. They have terrible blind spots. Okay, they're moving over. Do a head check. Very good. Very good. All right, let's take a look at this a little bit more.
You came right.
Yeah, he did come right at you. All right, so we're hanging out in the blind spot. Remember, I like to ride staggered. Okay, I like to ride staggered with other cars. I pretend I'm in a group ride with other vehicles. Okay, this is a decent space cushion in front of us, but I feel like I'm starting to get boxed in. I bet you feel that too. Maybe that's why you increase your speed to kind of get ahead of this vehicle, but then you'll be too close to the white truck. Okay, so what I like to do when it comes to feeling boxed in, the easiest thing to do, just roll the throttle. Just roll the throttle. I'm going to create the space cushion versus put myself into a position ahead of me to where I have to find a space cushion. I already have one if I just roll up the throttle. So that's what I would do. I get it. You don't really want to do that when you're on the interstate. You want to keep maintaining your speed. You don't want to keep adjusting. I shouldn't have to do this. I get that. I understand. But in certain situations like this, it doesn't happen a lot when you're on the highway. Just do it every now and then. And then now get back up to speed when you have that new space cushion. So we're coming up to here. Good job with the head check, though. You saw them coming over into your lane. And one thing that I do, I wonder if you do this too, is the moment I see the tire, because it's really hard to gauge unless you're super paying attention to gauge if they're actually coming into your lane. What I look for is the pattern and it's almost like a symbol of somebody changing lanes, is if their tire crosses that white line. You see that over there? If their tire crosses over into that white line into my lane, oh, they're in my lane. Like I already immediately know. I don't have to fight for anything. I don't have to guess, oh, are they in my lane? No. I just switch over or roll off the throttle. If I need to, I can emergency accelerate, but I either switch over or roll off the throttle. So you did a good job doing a head check and a mirror check. Nobody's over there. You don't want to swerve into somebody else. And you moved into a new position for safety because you located a hazardous situation. Is it a relevant threat? Yes, it is. You're going to navigate the active one. So you're going to move over. Good job. New position for safety. And there it is. So this was a very good job when it comes to a blind spot merging into our lane situation. I don't have an acronym for that one, but good job. So see how you roll off you naturally rolled off the throttle because you took your hand off the throttle. So that's you naturally rolling it off. And you see how everyone's moving forward and you're getting a new space cushion. That's what I do if I'm side by side with somebody. All right. So good job, Buddha Rice. Good job.
You came right into me.
This person did not do good.
Way that just a split second of inattention is enough to land you in serious trouble.
Yep. Oh, and our buddy crashed. Oh, no. Let's go back to that one.
You came right into me.
All right. So we are not in a good... Let's do right at the first frame. All right, so we're probably doing a head check. I don't think he's looking back at us. Maybe he is. I don't know. Doing a head check. But if you're doing a head check for a very long time, when you're this close to other vehicles from this far away, what you should do instead is instead of doing a head check in this position, just focus on this vehicle, slowly move over to here, into this position, do a head check, and then move over. Okay? You don't have to do a head check here. Let's go ahead and get some of these lines out of the way. You don't have to do a head check way over here in this lane and then now swerve hard. Okay, you don't have to do that. Because in order to switch lanes, you have to do both, right? You have to do both. You have to switch lanes and you have to do a head check, right? Well, you don't have to do a head check to switch here. So let's switch here first. Let's get that one action out of the way and then do a quick head check. And then it's a continuation of that original action. Because if you move over first, right? If you move over first into this part, you can still pay attention to what's happening in front of you. You're just kind of moving over. You're looking forward, moving over. And then when you're in this decent position now on the other side, then you can do a quick head check and then move over quickly. Okay? Think about the order of operations, basically. We're thinking multiplication and addition and division and all that stuff. Order of operations. Do the movement first. Get yourself in a position for safety. Do a quick head check because you're having to take your eyes off the threat in front of you and then move over. But we weren't paying attention.
This biker found out the hard way that just a split second of inattention is enough to land you in.
So we did the head check. We're starting to move over. We panicked a little bit. We didn't see the brake lights if we were paying attention, and we hit the ground. And you are absolutely right, Ramsian. Looks like I was taking a dump. All right, here we go. Moving on. All stopped at a red light.
Your right came to a
He's got a Cardo Pack Talk Edge right there. Love it. 10% off in the
painful end when the driver, for some unknown reason, slammed right into him.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, dude? Oh, I think he said...
right into him. Your right came to a painful end when the driver, for some unknown reason, slammed right into him.
Okay. I was wondering if the car behind him hit him. And then he hit him, but no. Trapped foot underneath. So he's got his modular helmet up. Highly recommend keeping it down. Wait, did it get knocked? No, he had it up. Okay. It should lock. Yeah, why didn't he get out of his car and check on him? Neck injuries and whiplash. Yeah. So whiplash, what that really is, I mean, it could be multiple things, but what that really is your musculoskeletal system in your neck. And so you have tendons and ligaments in your neck, and you have also those obvious muscles in your neck. And so what happens is that it's like a sprain of the neck, and it sucks because like you've ever had a sprained ankle and it's tough to walk on for a couple weeks. Now imagine the amount of pain and just like being in your neck. You can't sleep well. Just even turning your head causes massive pain. Even your body has to keep your head up. Okay, so you're gonna have pain just even keeping your head up. And that's why people do wear cervical collars or a soft collar to help keep the head up without having to use the muscles and the tendons and ligaments in your neck. You can also have bones, little step-offs, little like fractures. You can have dislocations, which is dangerous. But more than likely, it's going to be like the tendons and ligaments hyperextending and then getting stretched, having a level 1, 2, hopefully not a level 3 sprain. A level 3 sprain is a full tear. Level 2 is a partial tear. Level 1 is a stretching, and you have micro tears. Overall, terrible. How can you have minimized those injuries? Nothing. Not much here. Not much here. It's a risk that we take when we're riding. It's a risk.
And when the driver,
they do have like those neck collars for dirt bikers. I don't see why we don't use them for the street. There has to be a reason why. Maybe it's not safe or whatnot. But they do have those neck collars that will keep your head more in line. I wonder why street riders don't use them. I don't know if that's just, it doesn't help. But I know when it comes to crashing on a dirt bike, they have those for that specific reason.